After redistricting, we think we'll net a few more seats, handful, maybe 6 to 8. We're in very good position to make history and grow this majority.
Yeah, but as Tim Robinson famously said, you sure about that? You sure about that, Mike Johnson? Oh, they were so excited to do the redistricting. Either because they actually thought it would benefit them, or more likely because Trump told them to, and it doesn't matter what the outcome is. Mike Johnson submits to Donald Trump. Put that on a t-shirt. The issue is that it might not, in fact, be working out numbers-wise for them, because what they can do, we can do, and maybe we can do it better. And I'm not just talking about California here. Virginia also is making some big moves. Virginia House Democrats passed a redistricting constitutional amendment for a second time on Wednesday. It now heads to the Senate for a vote before it can be voted on during a referendum this spring, perhaps in April. It's expected to easily pass in the Senate, by the way, given the Democrats' majority there. They're eyeing in Virginia a 10-1 or 9-2 map in a state where Democrats currently have a 6-5 edge in the congressional delegation, meaning potentially 3 or 4 seat swing just in Virginia alone. And by the way, is that fair in Virginia? Is Virginia a 90% Democratic state? No. And prior, old John, 2023 John would say, no, this is wrong. Let's not do this. But we didn't start it. And maybe we need to do it this way to get them to finally cry uncle and then set up federal independent expert-led redistricting so that the great Republicans of Virginia can have some representation. But until we get there, screw them. They apparently don't get to choose their leaders the same way that we don't in Texas and perhaps not in Florida. And soon the Republicans won't get to in California either, because 2 members of a 3-panel judge panel upheld Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom's new map. It was approved by state voters last year. It had been challenged by the California Republican Party. And to that, I refer you to the Miss Rachel and Zoran Mamdani crying emoji or GIF. And so we could potentially get 5 seats there. We might get 3 or 4 in Virginia. And by the way, there's a lot of this going around. It could still benefit the Republicans a little bit. It could also hurt them, because we know that you can't do these maps without potentially risking some of these seats. And these maps that they're experimenting with, the super gerrymandered ones, are based on assumptions about voter behavior that are seeming a little bit out of date with how much people hate the Trump administration. And so bear in mind also, Maryland might be able to get the Democrats 1 extra seat. Illinois potentially might move on this too. Governor DeSantis thinks he can do this in Florida. There's a lot of this going around, and none of this should be happening. But never forget, they're the ones that started it. Viviana, what do you think?
I mean, I gotta say, John, I voted for the measure here in California, and I hated doing it. I hate that we're doing this as a country. I think it is so bad for us. I feel like we're pushed into a corner, and like you said, we gotta fight fire with fire. But we are putting ourselves in such a delicate position as just as countrymen, because once we empower politicians to start, fiddling with these kinds of things, it's a slippery slope into some bad stuff. So I'm hoping that this is all temporary. We figure some stuff out to stabilize our country. We get rid of the electoral college, and we have like actual district maps that make sense for the communities they're in. But right now, it's so ugly on both sides. It can go either way, and I understand we're trying to fight what they're doing, but this isn't democracy. This is redlining and gerrymandering. This was like not allowed before. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have a wildly corrupt Supreme Court, so
yeah,
I don't trust them on this either.